Hi there. I guess you're wondering why my arm is in the sling and splints. I broke my arm 3 years ago, 2009 January, um, through playing sports in my wheelchair. I have spina bifida and hydrocephalus. Um, my bones are weak and my muscles were fairly strong. I've broke the same arm 27 times, and my other hand and wrist 25. Um, it was in a full arm cast for 4 months, just over, and it usually takes about a month after the cast comes off for me to gain the full strength back into my wrist and hand. I have no trouble usually getting it straight, my arm straight, after it's been in the full arm cast. Um, it came off in the April, and like I said, well, this time it came up when it came off. I did the exercises, and I couldn't get the strength back. So I went back to see the consultant and told him. He said just carry on with the therapy, and 3 months later, still no good. So I went back again. He said there was nothing wrong. I said, well, there's got to be something wrong. So he says that I was a hypochondriac, and I'm not. And so he got fed up with me and said that he was going to refer me to see another consultant at a different hospital, one closer to my home. And that was in May when he told me that. I finally got to see a new consultant in November, and they did an MRI scan on my wrist and found out that I'd got ligament damage. With this, the consultant said that he would get me in as soon as possible, being I need both hands to push my wheelchair and do my job. I work for Marks and Spencer. It's very uncomfortable. And he got me in January, the start of January 12th. Had the operation on the Tuesday, which was the 13th. I know that sounds like an unlucky day to have an operation. On the evening before, he done another MRI scan and found that from the November to the January when I went in, that the ligaments had shortened, this causing him to give me two options. The options were to obviously reconnect the ligaments and have full use of my hand again and wrist, and so obviously that's what I wanted. So I could push the wheelchair and do my sports, my basketball, my racing, and everything like that. So the morning came, I went down to theatre, woke up. It took 3 hours apparently to do the operation. My arm was in a sling, held up at the side of me. That was in a short arm cast and short arm back slab cast, and then from there he came round to see me and said that he couldn't fix ligaments, unfortunately, and ended up having to fuse my wrist, which I didn't really know what that meant. And then he told me that he had to put a plate and 8 screws into my wrist, into my ulnar part of the wrist. I think it's the ulnar. And then he said it would take up to 3 months to heal. I had a cast change, and there was quite a few stitches, and when they took it out of the cast, I realised that my wrist was stiff, and I thought it was just due to just like the operation. I didn't think any more of it. Then they decided, because they didn't want me to use my arm, that they would put me in a full arm cast. So they did, and you can imagine how difficult that was, with having to try and get around in a wheelchair with a full arm cast. Not an easy feat. They gave me a wheelchair that I could push with one arm, and that made things a lot easier. And I had several cast changes. I was in hospital for 4 months, still above our elbow cast, from the fingers down up to just below my armpits. The cast came off in the April again, and then I knew that I would never be able to bend my wrist again. And so with that, I wasn't best pleased. So I'm still there. I learned to push my wheelchair in a different way. I can't do basketball anymore, or any of my racing. So I'm not happy about that. I'm having problems with it now. That's why I'm wearing the splint again. Going to see a consultant again next month, because I'm having problems that it's actually starting to feels like something's coming loose. And so we'll see what happens from there. So I'll let you guys know what happens. Alright, take care. See you soon.